Yeah, I didn't really care that much about the original Rosemary's Baby.
No.
I do want to go back and revisit it at some point when I'm not so close to Apartment 7A.
Yeah.
Because I think my view on Apartment 7A is that it is a rehash of Rosemary's Baby from what I remember. Although, I will take any opportunity to watch Julia Garner.
She's fantastic.
And Diane Wiest.
I know, Diane Wiest was such a fun surprise.
YUNKJunk! What's up to our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? Welcome to the Invasive Cult Pop Podcast, episode 96, where we talk about prequels and spin-offs and TV and comics and all the other things that scratch your nerdy little itches. We're coming to you live from...
I'm not here live.
Pre-recorded from YUNKJunk HQ, a bomb-ass podcast production space here in Philadelphia, PA. Hey, Dylan, if people wanted to know more about that, how do?
Well, it's quite simple, you see. All they got to do is look at the bottom of the screen and write that email down and then send a message to that email. And that email will arrive to me and I'll
hook it
reply.
up.
Yeah, hook it up. And we'll get a podcast going and have some fun.
Make it as flirty as possible.
Ooh.
I'm your host, JD, Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19127. Rad-ass comic shop, rad-ass stuff that I sell. You're rad-ass. Get your rad-ass in here and buy my shit. With me tonight to talk is Alice.
Hi, that's me.
Hey, Alice. Noel is on assignment in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And he's in the chat saying, I miss your musks. Cough, cough. He's not feeling.
We miss yours too.
Little under the weather. And then, Dylan's in the booth, our trusty producer. Tonight, we're going to be discussing prequels and spin-offs, now streaming, Agatha All Along, Penguin, and the Rosemary's Baby prequel, Apartment 7A. But before we get into that, I just want to thank you for being here. You look great. We're here live. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when we do all this nasty fun stuff. We love a little back and forth. A little in and out. So pipe in the chat and or send us emails at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Speaking of emails, we got letters. Oh, we got lots and lots of letters. This one is from Noel. Oh, okay.
Oh, he snuck that one in there.
Snuck one in. Hey, Cult Poppers, longtime co-host, fifth or sixth time emailer. I just wanted to ask a question of my favorite podcast in the world. When you're feeling under the weather, what's a go-to movie and or book for comfort? And it can't be The Littlest Vampire.
I got called out so hard.
Or Twilight. Let's exclude all vampire stuff. Alice.
All of it?
Jeesh.
All right, fine. Blades out then? Okay.
Thanks for the Rex and have a good show. He's in the comments going, tee. So comfort. If you're not feeling well, what do you do? Well, first of all, pho or ramen. If it's raining or I'm not feeling well, I like a nice big hot bowl of pho. Do you have a comfort food? If you're like, not
comfort food, tomato soup always. Classic. Classic tomato soup.
Grilled cheese?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Unless I have a sore throat.
Yeah.
And then it's just the soup. But yeah.
Dairy, not good. And the movie. So it's not when I'm sick, but anytime there's a snow day, I always just revert to Quentin Tarantino movies. Like I'll revisit.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, I'll revisit The Hateful Eight. I'll do Kill Bill. I'll do the one with the Nazis.
Oh, the one. No,
Inglourious
Bastards. I almost said The Green Room, which is the other one you talked about the other day.
About Nazis.
Yeah, I was like, that's not Quentin Tarantino.
That's always what I sort of revert back to all the way. I don't know why.
Mine is super predictable, and it's not it might be a Little Vampire, but
Scream.
Always Scream. Like I will text Costa that I'm like, if I'm at work and I'm not feeling good, or if I'm just having a bad day at work, he's like, all right, I'll get Scream ready. We'll watch Scream when you're home. And I'm like, amazing.
So cute.
Specifically the first one. Sometimes the fourth one is like just my go-to comfort.
The first one's so underrated. Christopher Goodnight is in the chat saying, Lucky Number 11 is one I can watch anytime. Oh, and Social Network. Oh, I should have friggin' guessed Tarantino. Bah. He hates Tarantino all of a sudden.
Yeah, I got called out in this email for my vampire stuff. JD called out at all for his Tarantino.
Tarantinos. Thank you so much, longtime co-host Noel. We hope you feel better.
Yes, please feel better. We miss you.
Good luck with the black lung. We also have one from Pink Apocalypse, long time friend of the show. She says, "Oi! Since Noel dropped a film suggestion and then fled the scene, here's some comments. I have no social media accounts. I do not participate in online fan spaces. I have no idea who the creator is, and I haven't looked up the movie. I went in and still remained oblivious."
What a peaceful existence that must be.
Right? Spoiler alert, I thought this movie was wonderful. The movie in question is Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls, which were reviewed on the very last podcast. I guess it's not the last, it's the most previous. One, the song at the burger joint was clearly cribbing Huey Lewis and the News' The Power of Love and just looped. Loved it. 2, a little Charlie and the Chocolate Factory homage going on with the invites and mysterious destination. 3, Jeffrey Combs, 3 exclamation points. 4, the protagonist vaguely reminded me of Jack Black, but this guy is actually funny and likable. 5, give me the power, I beg of you, from the Child's Play series. He worships the same god as Chucky, R.I.P. the series. And 6, Klaatu Barata Nikto was thrown in. The I don't know, scene prompted a profound realization in my use of I don't care.
Wow.
I never made the connection before to a significantly traumatic moment decades ago. The end was great. I'm an easy mark for stories where someone finds their tribe. I've never found mine. Ironically, despite growing up on a reservation, he might have found his. I would watch a continuation of this. I really dig his brand of weird. Hail Satan, Pink.
I also really dig this brand of weird.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of phrasing it. So point number 4 that you made, the protagonist reminded you of Jack Black, but this guy is actually funny and likable. I don't think Kos is in the chat right now because he's also under the weather, but my fiance he hasn't watched this movie, but he also isn't a huge fan of Jack Black, and that just made me laugh. I do love Jack Black, but I get the comparison that you're saying.
I like Jack Black too. Less as time goes on, but I used to be a big fan. We're all Onyx pilled, says Noel. All right, so that's another email. Thank you so much, Pink. I love it when Pink writes in. And this one's from Chris Ain't Saucy. Good night. Harley debuted in 92, but her origin as Harleen wasn't released until 94, which is around the same time Batman Forever was being written and filmed. As I sat in the theater last Saturday watching it for Batman Day, I wondered, would we have gotten more of the blonde bombshell psychologist with a fetish for bad boys if Mad Love hadn't come out in 94? Also, Edward Nygma and Elon Musk would have been besties. That's true.
Yep.
So Harley debuted in 92 and then 94. Mad Love. I know that was a graphic novel. Was that also the name of the episode that she was in? Costa's in there. Jack Black, sigh. Sam dislikes Jack Black as well. Noel, chime in with Mad Love. Would we have gotten more of the blonde bombshell psychologist with a fetish for bad boys if Mad Love hadn't come out in 94?
Because Harley Quinn, the character, was in 92 in the animated series. Yeah. I know that, with the Joker. And I think she was supposed to just be like a one-off character, but people really liked her, so she stuck around.
Like Spike.
Yeah.
From Buffy.
Yeah. But then, her backstory as Harleen wasn't until 94. Yeah, I wonder if...
That's neat. I didn't know that. Honestly, I don't think I paid that much attention to Harley. I still don't.
I like Harley.
She's fine. And I like Margot Robbie as her. She's awesome. And if you like Harley and you haven't read it yet, there is a Black Label book that came out about within the last 5 years called Harleen. But I want to say by Stefan Sejic. Very good graphic novel.
Ooh,
It was like a 3-issue series that they put together in a nice little... I don't think so. Chase Meridian didn't have a large enough following to take off. Oh, I see. Oh, the blonde bombshell psychologist with a fetish for bad boys. I didn't even make the connection to Chase Meridian. Ugh, I'm so dumb. I thought he was talking about a different version of Harley. Like Harley became a different character after her origin was revealed or something. That's my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Played by, what was her name? She was married to Tom Cruise.
Katie. Oh no, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
I don't think it's an issue of one replacing the other so much as one hit better than the other. Yeah. Harleen just hit different.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, Christopher St. Saucy. Good night. Them's the emails. Now comes the section of the show where I like to ask my friend Alice what has been popping this week. Hey, Alice.
Hey.
What's been popping this week?
This week, I decided to watch one of the most recent Ryan Murphy shows. I started watching Glee. No.
I was about to ask who Ryan Murphy is. Thank you. Okay,
he's American Horror Story is the other one.
Oh, wait. American Horror Story and Glee?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite facts to share about people that don't know that. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Same dude.
Weird. Okay,
Same
cool.
Dude. So I've watched American Horror Story. I haven't watched all of the American Horror Stories. I dropped off at 1984. That was the last one I watched. And it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. So it just wasn't my cup of tea. But then I kept getting ads for Grotesquerie. And this really seemed like my cup of tea. Like detective, investigating heinous crimes, seemed personal to her in some way. So she gets really too personally, emotionally involved in it. So I watched the first 2 episodes that were out. I think a third one just came out today. First 2 episodes, absolutely banger. I am hooked. It has remnants of Seven.
Okay.
A little bit of Hannibal in there. Like it's good. So far it's good. The thing with some of the American Horror Story shows, the ones that I even enjoyed very much, he really hooked me in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like so obsessed in the beginning, and then I'd always not really enjoy the ends of the shows. Like it might have just been a personal thing for me. So I'm still a little skeptical. I'm going to keep watching for sure. I'm hooked again. I don't know if this is just in the Ryan Murphy pattern for me, but I'm really enjoying this.
I'm looking on the IMDb as she's talking, and the main actress, I don't know how to say her name.
Niecy Nash.
Niecy Nash. Mm-hmm. I was like, she looks so familiar. She's from Reno 911. Mm-hmm. I can't believe that's her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she is so good in this role. She's so good.
And Courtney B. Vance. He's awesome too.
Yep. He hasn't shown up yet, but every podcast that I listen to that recommends this show to me and has an ad for it will not stop talking about how Travis Kelce's in the show.
Oh, okay.
Football player / Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Okay. So he, at least in the 2 episodes I watched, haven't seen him yet, haven't met his character yet, but.
So is it funny at all, or is it just straight drama?
It's straight drama. There's a couple of like dark humor jokes, but it's not. Ryan Murphy's horror. He's a horror dude. I don't know where Glee came from. Okay. He did Glee. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where he made the jump. I think he did Glee first, if I'm remembering, because that was like when I was in high school. American Horror Story was when I was in college. And now he does all those. He did the Dahmer show. I didn't watch that. I'm not going to. He does the one that's also out now, Monsters, about the Menendez brothers.
Yep. Don't care.
No.
I've lost my taste for watching biopics about like serial killers.
That's why I haven't watched a lot of his stuff recently.
Yeah, it just feels a little icky at this point.
Yeah, I brought it up when we were talking about, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, when we were talking about Maxine. I was nervous to see Maxine because they made it seem like it was going to be a Night Stalker thing. Yep. And he's done that before. He's incorporated Night Stalker, I think, in 2 different seasons of American Horror Story. Hotel and 1984.
He also did Nip Tuck.
Did he really?
Which is another show I used to watch like every so often. Very cool. What's that?
Talk on mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Apparently there's a mic here for a reason. So yeah, this looks awesome. I definitely want to check it out. Good poster.
It's great. And this might be a topic I should put on my other podcast.
What's the name of your other?
Inside the Morgue.
There you go.
Where we talk about crime dramas and how accurate they are. There's a shot in one of the episodes where you see what are supposed to be organs, and they look so real to the point where I paused it and I was sitting on my couch trying to look up how they made these organs look so real.
Wow.
And that's one of my complaints in a lot of like CSI shows. I'm like, that looks so fake. That's not what a stomach looks like. And I was like, holy shit. Wow. I paused. I texted Jess, my fellow autopsy tech and co-host of Inside the Morgue, and I was like, you have to watch the show and tell me what you think of this one scene with these organs. And she texted me back. She's like, that's good. They did good.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like a whole nother episode.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Let's see. Batman Forever.
He did do Scream Queens. That's right. Yes. I forgot about Scream Queens.
Ryan Murphy also did Nip Tuck. Oh, yeah. And Popular. I got a. Oh no, bye Noel. He left.
Bye Noel.
So yeah, that sounds
Love you
awesome. I'm gonna check that out.
Yes.
And
Third
then
episode's out now. I think they come out every Wednesday. It's FX or Hulu. I watched it on Hulu.
For me,
Yeah, what's popping with you?
I'll tell you what.
I gotta get in my position.
I wound up. My family went to sleep, and I just like you do the mindless boop 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 boop. And there have been times, to be honest, that I have boop boop booped until I just went to sleep.
Yeah.
Like I don't actually pick anything, or I'll pick something, and by that time I get like 10 minutes into the movie, I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. But this time I watched The Revenant.
If Ghost is here, he's gonna be excited.
Holy cats. I had heard about this, and I knew there was something about a bear and Leonardo DiCaprio. And this was awesome. I watched it over a 2-night period.
Mm-hmm. It's a long one, right?
It's a long, slow one, except for a couple of scenes
for
that
the
are
bear part.
whoa. So I have in my past, I was irrationally afraid of bears. I had an incident at a campground.
Oh my God.
And it traumatized me. And I've ever since, like, I haven't gone camping and been comfortable since. Like, I just feel like you're on the ground and you're wrapped up in a tent and you're a burrito. Like, you're just wrapped up for a bear to come eat your face. And so there was, I forget, The Edge. I think there was a movie called The Edge.
Yes.
And there was a bear attack in that.
There is. What one man has done, another can do. That's the line from The Edge. Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah. So I've been traumatized. This is the worst bear attack I've ever seen.
It's horrendous.
Yeah. I don't even know how they filmed it. Like, the CG is pretty rough, but like just how he's tossed around. I don't even know how they filmed that. But yeah, it is such a good movie. It is just gorgeous. There's just sprawling shots of the mountains and the snow, and it's just really, really good. I was really surprised at how good this movie was. Like, I know people like it, but I just came across it a little late. Inspired by true events. I did not know that.
Yes. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's about a frontiersman on a fur trading expedition in the 1820s, fights for survival after being mauled by a bear and left for dead by members of his own hunting team. So, yeah.
And the cast is stacked.
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy. And Tom Hardy, sometimes he just disappears and I don't even know it's him until like I look it up and I'm like, no, that is Tom Hardy. Holy shit. He disappeared in this role. I couldn't even tell it was him. Will Poulter, is that his name?
Yep.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah. Love him.
Awesome. A lot of folks in this movie. Really, really good. If you got an extra, it feels like it was like a 9-hour movie.
Yeah.
But it's a really good 9-hour movie. So yeah, highly recommend if you get a chance. Let's see.
Costa loves The Revenant.
Strange Darling is now streaming. You have no excuse for not covering it next week, except for the fact that Joker 2 comes out tomorrow. Well, you found our excuse.
That's a pretty good excuse there.
And Vicious Marshmallow says, "Oh shit, we live?" Yeah, we live. Last week was pre-recorded.
Oh, they caught us.
Noel hates it when I point that out. So yeah, that's what
Noel's
was popping this week. Yeah, that's right. He's split. So yeah, that's what was popping this week. Let me know. Did you guys watch either of these, the television show Grotesquerie or The Revenant? Get in the chat and let me know what you guys thought of it. It was awesome. I kind of want to revisit it at some point.
Yeah, I need to revisit it. I watched it when it came out in theaters. Coast and I went.
But you were in a bad mood.
I was. Call me out, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't in the mood to watch. I need to revisit it with fresh eyes. I could appreciate it was beautiful and the acting was great. It just wasn't the movie I was in the mood to watch.
We've all been there.
Which is the same thing that happened to me when we watched The Lighthouse. And both of these films Costa absolutely adores. So and I'm like, all right, he has good taste. I need to try this again.
Yeah.
So
I'm
going to.
I made that decision once. I rented 2 movies at the same time. I rented Striking Distance, starring Bruce Willis, and what was it? Goldmember. Austin Powers. Austin Powers 1. And I put in Austin Powers 1. I got about 10 minutes in. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I hate this movie. I'm going to watch Striking Distance. And then I revisited it again, like, I don't know, 6 months later. And I was like, holy shit, this movie's amazing.
Yeah.
I was just in a shitty mood and I wasn't in the headspace
Yeah,
for it.
before
So,
anybody comes for me for not liking this movie, I was in a bad mood. I recognize it was a me problem.
It's okay if you hate the movie.
I don't.
And you
I
hate
don't
everyone
think I
who
do.
likes the movie. It's fine. We're fine with it.
Don't need any internet hate. God. I will say I did make a SpongeBob joke during the movie that Costa didn't get.
During
The Revenant.
Oh.
Have you ever?
I don't know a lot about SpongeBob. Before the internet comes for me, I don't know a lot about SpongeBob.
There's an episode where there's a sea bear, and the defense for sea bear is to draw a circle on the ground and sit in the circle. But Squidward keeps getting attacked, and so they're like, "That's an oval. It has to be a circle." So I whispered that to Costa mid bear attack scene. And he's like, "What are you saying?" And I'm like,
I don't. Yeah. This is a very
"My jokes
important
aren't
scene.
even funny."
Another thing that came out this week, I guess last week, The Penguin dropped on Max, the one to watch for HBO, based on I guess you know the Penguin, right? From the Batman, Matt Reeves, the Batman, starring, the fuck is his name?
Colin Farrell, who's unrecognizable, which we've already been over because the Batman, but I still can't get over it every time it's him. I'm like, I can't believe this is Colin Farrell.
I spend half the time loving the show and the other half I'm just looking for Colin Farrell. Like I'm just looking for him, and looking at the makeup, and it's almost distracting. Yeah, the fact that it's Colin Farrell in that makeup.
He's so good.
He's so good, and the acts, like the way he talks and everything.
It's like all these goils.
These goils. Yeah, it's a little.
You don't know nothing.
It's a little over the top.
It's great though. Yeah. It's what.
It's a little scene chewy. Can you do an impression of Boston Powers? Do an Austin Powers impression with a Boston accent. It's fun. Boston Powers. How do they caw? Hey, go get in the car.
They don't have R's.
Go get in the car.
Go get in the car. Khakis.
Oh, behave. I don't know how they would say it. Behave, Boston Powers. We watched the first episode. I watched the first 1.5, and you watched the first 2.
I watched the first 2.
You're ahead of me. What did you think?
I love it. I love this cast. I will say I am a huge Batman fan in general. And I am a huge Batman. Yeah, that's why I wore the shirt. Huge Batman fan. Yeah. I'm a huge Robert Pattinson fan. I've also worn a shirt with his face on it on this podcast. So I am all about anything related to the Matt Reeves Batman. Okay. I freaking love this. I love getting to know more about the mob ties and all of Gotham. I like to know more about the aftermath after the Batman and what the Riddler did. And it's so good. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's probably a little hyperbole to say it's Sopranos good, but it definitely has that flavor.
Yeah, I think that's what HBO is going for. Yeah.
It's got that prestige feel, like prestige television feel, even though it's a comic book show.
They're definitely hitting on a lot of like mafia tropes. And I was doing some reading today. There's some critics that were complaining about that. But overall, I think most people love this. Yeah. And it's
tropey.
But I mean,
right. It's been there, done that. But like it's done in such a interesting.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, man, this was great. I can't wait to watch more of it.
I love it. The cast again is who else is in this?
Colin Farrell, Christine Milioti, who I like
amazing.
A lot.
Amazing in this.
Renzi Feliz,
and her
Theo
character,
Rossi.
I don't know if it's a spoiler to say her character, but her character is so good too.
Clancy Brown,
who's Mr. Krabs. And also just an amazing actor who's been in a ton of other things. Also, Scott Cohen, who's a member of the Falcone family. I can never unsee him as Max Medina from Gilmore Girls.
That's Max!
That's Max Medina from Gilmore Girls. It clicked last night and I was like, oh my God, I can't unsee it now. But he's also incredible. Not Max Medina. That's for sure.
He is. He's more handsome now than he was when he was on Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
God damn. What's happening? What am I watching? Goodness gracious. But yeah, I didn't know that from the first season, right? It's like the first love interest of the show.
Yes, when she starts going to Chilton. Yeah. It is the first season when she takes her to school.
Yeah,
and
man.
She's in her awkward little outfit. I had to do laundry and I had to wear my Daisy Dukes. And,
I get a lot of shit from this, I think probably from Noel, but I don't really like the Batman as much as everyone else does. Everyone talks about how like, oh, he's finally a detective. And I'm like, is he? Does he detect? I don't know.
That's not what I love about it. Keep going.
No. What do you love about it?
I love that it's him figuring out how to be Batman and Bruce Wayne at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, the whole movie is like nobody ever sees Bruce Wayne because he hasn't found that balance yet of being the billionaire playboy. I need to put on that persona. He's fully Batman, and that's one of the things I love about the Batman character is he's not Bruce Wayne being Batman. He's Batman who has to pretend to be Bruce Wayne during the day.
Yep.
And this is fully him just entrenched in being the Batman. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't figured out the Bruce Wayne part yet.
Oh, right on.
And that's what I love about it. The detective thing, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
There are elements of the movie that I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it's shot. I love the score. Sometimes I'll just put the score on.
It's so good.
Even though, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but it's just one note shy of being the Darth Vader theme.
I didn't clock that.
Listen to it.
Look at that.
It's the Darth Vader theme, missing one note.
I love it even more.
Yeah. But my favorite...
I hear it in my head. Oh my God, that's so good.
Right? My favorite part of that movie was Colin Farrell as the Penguin. So the fact that he gets his own show, and it's such a shame. There's so many shows that they've done for both Star Wars and Marvel, and they all are bullshit compared to this. Just like the way, like the amount of money that it looks like everything's on screen. I don't know what the budget of it is, but it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Some of the outside scenes are a little CG, the Gotham driving through Gotham, they're not really doing that. But the rest of it is just so good. And I'm like, why can't the Star Wars and the Marvel shows be this good? It's a shame. Not that I don't like those shows too.
Yes. I'm just saying, I'm like, don't say they're nonsense.
No. Because we'll get shit about it.
God forbid.
But yeah,
we use that word.
I can't wait for more of this. The second episode is just as good as the first, I assume.
Even better, I dare say.
It's Kristen Milioti as Sophia Falcone is so terrifying.
She's got the crazy eyes down. Yeah. She's so good at the emotions in the eyes. It's so good.
I'm trying to remember where I know her from. I think was she in that Andy Samberg movie?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Palm Springs?
Yes.
Was that it?
She's also in How I Met Your Mother, I believe.
Oh, I've watched
it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. One episode of that show, maybe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, super great. If you guys haven't checked out The Penguin, highly recommend. I'm sure you probably have. And then the other thing that dropped was, speaking of Marvel shows, Agatha All Along, starring Catherine Hahn, the amazing Catherine Hahn, Joe Locke, Sashir Zatama, Patti LuPone, Aubrey Plaza. Good cast.
Yeah.
And this show stems from the, what was it? Wanda and Vision.
WandaVision,
yeah. Which was one of the better Marvel shows.
It's one of my favorites to this day.
Everyone sort of teases this show as like, nobody asked for this, and it's a spinoff from who cares about Agatha and blah, blah, blah. And I could see where they get that. But holy shit, this is fun. This is a really fun show. I
was so excited as soon as they announced this. Yeah. I love Catherine Hahn. She's
so great.
Also said Aubrey Plaza was going to be in it. I love her too.
Yeah.
I was excited to see Agatha. I want to know more about her. Mm-hmm. As someone who hasn't read the comics, I didn't know.
As someone who does read the comics, I don't know much about Agatha either. Yeah. Harkness. So yeah, this dropped. A spellbound Agatha Harkness regains freedom thanks to a teen's help. Intrigued by his plea, she embarks on the Witch's Road trials to reclaim her powers and discover the teen's motivations. I think the teen is the weakest part of this show.
Okay, so how many episodes have you watched?
I've only watched the first.
Okay, yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, and he brings a Sabrina vibe. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The Chilling Tales of Sabrina.
Okay, I wasn't sure which one you meant. I was like the OG, the more recent one. Okay,
the
I
better
can see
Sabrina.
That. Sabrina.
I do like. I've never watched. I was too late.
Melissa Joan Hart? Are you kidding?
Yeah, I was too old for that at that point.
Oh my god, I was obsessed with that one.
So yeah, he just sort of brings that sort of vibe to it, which is fine. Witches, fine.
Witches. Oh my god, both shows are witches.
So yeah, the rest of it's great, and Catherine Hahn is a delight to watch. It's impossible to do it because you know that Agatha is a witch before you even come into the show. But the fact that they set up the first episode I did watch 2 episodes.
Oh,
The
I only
first
watched one.
episode is mostly a pastiche of a detective show, like
Which I fucking love.
Mayor of Easttown or something like that, right?
It's so good.
I keep waiting for her to like take off the glasses and like make a pun, you know?
It's so good.
But
And they don't explain why it's that at all until the end.
Yeah.
Like it's just you're right in the middle of this crime drama and you're like, what?
in the trailer, I they showed that in the trailer and I was like, oh, is this like a prequel to before she was a witch? Like, was she a detective? Like, what? I don't know this about her. But they spoil in the trailer that she's under a spell.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Why do we spend 45 minutes doing this if everyone knows she's under a spell?
I thought it was so fun still.
Yeah, it was fun.
Loved it. Loved it.
She was.
She goes to the coroner's office.
That's right. How was
so
that
excited.
scene?
It was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
People don't usually turn into witches, at least while I'm there, but
Yes, you don't know.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Pink says we're catching up on Marvel. We're in the middle of Loki season 2, then the Marvels, then Secret Invasion.
I have some catching up to do too.
Loki season 2 is it spins its wheels a little bit in the middle, but the end of Loki season 2 is awesome. I love the Marvels.
Mm-hmm.
Highly underrated film.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It got so much shit online from dudes who were like women, and it was really really good.
Women and their feelings?
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Sorry.
She got a comment from
It's
a
okay,
jerk
I'm
on a
fine.
short.
We don't have to address it. It was
I
funny.
literally avoid trailers now. I try to too. Yeah, Pink. So yeah, Penguin is better than Agatha, but very different vibes. So it's kind of hard to compare them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both a lot of fun, and I look forward to both of them.
I recommend both of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep watching both of them.
What else? What else we got? Let's see.
Our main topic time?
It's main topic time.
It's main topic time. I have something.
Oh yeah,
I have
you
a
said
thing.
you had a something.
I have a something. So this is Apartment 7A is a Rosemary's Baby prequel.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
On Paramount Plus, directed by
Yes.
Natalie Erica James, starring Julia Garner, Diane Wiest.
I pull out a Satan baby. And I brought the Antichrist.
Look what I got.
It's been surprisingly quiet down there.
I have these pumpkin ales because it's also officially October.
Scary good pumpkin ales.
It's Two Roads Brewery, Rosemary's Baby. We're not being paid by them, by the way. I just thought this was a fun name and it's a fun design.
Look at the design. It's the baby carriage,
Yes.
but like a pumpkin. Holy
Yeah.
cats. I love shit like that.
I know. I was very excited when I saw this.
It's pumpkin ale brewed with spices and aged in rum barrels with vanilla beans. Those are my favorite beans.
It is a kind of a strong beer, so
Sometimes
Might get a
I'll just
little
make
funny.
chili with vanilla beans.
and
Vanilla bean chili.
Shotgun 'em.
I gave Dylan one too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Doink.
Cheers, Dylan.
Cheers.
That's not bad. I thought
pretty
it was
good.
going to be an IPA,
Mm-mm.
which I hate.
I know. It's
IPAs
not
are
an IPA.
the fucking worst.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
You know what'll wash this down the best?
What? The Antichrist.
Twinkies, pumpkin spice Twinkies. It's a limited edition from Hostess. They're artificially flavored. Just so you know,
Oh, okay.
these aren't made with real Twinkie.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, there's no Twinks were harmed while making these. Dylan, did you get one? Oh, you already have one.
Yeah, you threw them when
All right.
All right.
So I like Twinkies, first of all. I
Yeah.
like Twinkies.
Yeah.
And I cheated. I already had one of these before the show. And I will say,
Are we all trying at the same time? Or
one, two, three.
don't chew right in the microphone.
Creamy.
That's pretty good.
Little ASMR.
Ugh.
Don't make Dylan listen to that.
I don't like that. I,
he
literally-
took off his
I
headphones.
just took my headphones off. That was
Torturing him.
gross.
Confession time, says Pink. As a horror fan, I have never cared for Rosemary's Baby, even pre-internet. It has nothing to do with Polanski. It's bad, slow, boring cinematography, and the payoff isn't worth it. What do you think?
Oh, I like these. I'm almost
This is
done.
real good.
Yeah.
They're not that pumpkin-y. Like
It's
it's
just
very
like a little-
subtle.
It's just a cream.
Yeah.
The subtle pumpkin.
Oh, it's the cream.
Oh, the
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
The twink part is still the same, but then the twink filling.
Mm.
The twink cream.
Mm.
I feel like my fingers shouldn't be wet though. After eating it, they shouldn't be like
no question.
slimy. That's freaking good.
Lovely.
So Pink, thank you for jumping in about Rosemary's Baby. I'm going. Sorry.
Stop torturing Dylan.
Oh, you didn't say. What do you think of the beer, Dylan?
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, this is not bad.
Enjoy.
Out of the 2 drinks that we've taste tested on this podcast,
That's right.
This
This
is
and the
one.
Beetlejuice soda, right?
yeah, this is one, and then Beetlejuice, it's second.
So
Out of 2.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. Also, good pun. Rosemary's Baby.
Isn't
God
it?
damn
I had to. I love a pun.
So dumb. I love
I
it.
enjoy Rosemary's Baby. We were talking about it tonight. I was like, I'm buying these.
So, what is your experience? Let's kick it off. We're going to give our broad feelings about Apartment 7A.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably spoil Rosemary's Baby ahead of time, so fuck off.
I haven't seen it since
but,
1968.
Yeah.
Get out now.
And then we'll let you know when we get into spoilers. Although, I'm going to be honest, if you've seen Rosemary's Baby, I don't think there's that many spoilers.
in apartments. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean. So, what are your thoughts on the original Rosemary's Baby?
I very much enjoy Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Big
a big
fan?
fan. Yeah, big fan. I haven't seen it in a while. It's been a long time. I think last time I watched it was in college, but I just like, it's one of those ones that stuck with me.
I think I made the mistake to the film's detriment, or my appreciation of the detriment of my appreciation of the film.
Did you watch it when you were in a bad mood?
I watched it maybe with a double feature of The Exorcist.
Oh.
And for me, if you put most movies against The Exorcist, they pale in comparison. The Exorcist is to this day a scary film.
Yeah.
I did not find Rosemary's Baby to be a scary film. I barely think it's a horror movie. If it's, it seems more of maybe a thriller.
Thriller. There's like just like a sense of dread and like something's going wrong, or like paranoia. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like all that about it, but it doesn't really feel like a horror movie. I know it's quantified as one, but I don't usually call it a horror movie. So yeah, I liked it well enough, but next to The Exorcist, it was like, what movie? What did we watch? Okay.
Yeah, watching
all I
it back
remember
to
is The
back.
Exorcist.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah.
So we watched a video right before we went live. That if you like Rosemary's Baby, or even if you don't, Pink, even if you don't like Rosemary's Baby, I should have had this up, but where is?
Yeah, there were some interesting takes. I think it was called The Take, right? It was the
The Take is the channel on YouTube, and it's Rosemary's Baby, Realism and Control. It's like a 10-minute video breakdown of the movie and sort of the many things that the movie was trying to say based on the novel.
And just like even different interpretations of different choices made, which I thought was really cool.
You can either interpret this movie, the original movie, as misogynistic as all hell, or you can interpret it as feminist as all hell.
Yeah.
It could be anti-abortion. It can be pro-abortion, depending on what you bring to this movie.
Yeah, your personal opinion, what you're bringing to this movie. That's that's what you take away from it.
Which is neat, because I would never even think, oh, this is a and also like pro-Christian, not you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would never think of the other side, but looking back, it's like, oh yeah, you could do either of those. So I didn't really care that much about the original Rosemary's Baby.
No. You saw next to
I do want to go back and revisit it at some point when I'm not so close to Apartment 7A.
Yeah.
Because I think my view on Apartment 7A is that it is a rehash of Rosemary's Baby from what I remember. Although I will take any opportunity to watch Julia Garner.
She's fantastic.
And Diane Wiest.
I know, Diane Wiest.
I always
such
feel
a
like
fun
I'm
surprise.
saying her name wrong. It's Wiest, right?
Yeah, I know, because Brooklyn Nine-Nine made a funny joke about it.
Yeah.
And you know, have you seen Brooklyn
what's the
Nine-Nine?
joke? Reenact the entire episode. Go.
Okay, so they're in the no. He comes in. He asks Charles how his weekend was. Jake comes in and he's like, "Oh, I was sick," and he's like, "I was watching a movie and I came down with a wicked Diane Wiest infection." And then the whole rest of the cold open is just them staring at each other for like a solid 30 seconds at least.
I love that.
And then he's like, "Get it?" And then it cuts to the credits. Like,
that's a good cold open.
It's one of their more famous
that's
cold opens.
Awesome.
So that's how I know how to pronounce her name.
That's
that
legit
of
awesome.
Brooklyn
I love
Nine-Nine.
that. I also came down with a Diane Wiest infection. I want to say there was another reference to her, but I want to say it was Paul Rudd. And did you ever see Movie 52 or something?
No.
Movie 50.
Oh,
what was that called?
It keeps popping up on my TikTok though.
Movie number. I forget.
Yeah, I think it was 50.
It has it has
42?
Jeremy Allen White in it
let me
too
look
when he
it
was
up.
young. And
Movie
That's a lot of people. It has like Hugh Jackman in it.
try 48 for some reason. 43.
48?
41.
43. I'm betting on 43. Somebody help us in the comments.
Movie 43! That's
It
it.
took me 3 tries, but I got it.
But yeah, insane cast for movie 43. Kind of a terrible movie. You may have seen clips online where it's got Hugh Jackman, but he's got balls on his
Oh my God,
neck.
that's this movie?
That's this movie. And he keeps like dipping it in his soup by accident.
Oh my
That's
God.
this movie, movie 43. And it's just, it's a loosely strung together bunch of shorts,
Mhm.
like comedy shorts. And I think one of them was about Paul Rudd kind of having a crush on Diane Wiest and like dating her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really cool.
That's
so
fun.
I texted Noel when I started this movie and I said, I could listen to Diane Wiest do this accent all day. I cackled when she started talking. I just loved it so much. It's so over the top, but so good.
It kind of reminded me of Rhea Perlman.
Yeah.
And I love Rhea Perlman. And it was great.
So having not seen Rosemary's Baby in forever,
Mm-hmm.
is that the woman's, does she talk like that in the original movie?
I also haven't seen it in forever, but
Okay.
I think.
I imagine, Diane Wiest wouldn't just like make a thing up.
Just do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this accent.
You know what, guys? I'm going to try something.
Yeah, just bear with me. I know we're making a prequel. I don't know if this movie is necessary. It is fine if you're like, I would like to watch something similar to Rosemary's Baby.
Mm.
Here's the thing. There is a trilogy out right now of Satan Baby movies. We have talked about 2 of them already. This is the 3rd one. We talked about The First Omen,
Mm-hmm.
which was gnarly and awesome.
I still have to see.
Another prequel, a legacy sequel prequel? What would you call that? It's a prequel to a movie from
Lego prequel.
a Lego prequel.
That's what this is. This is a prequel from
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
another
like a
this.
prequel. Oh, yeah, yeah.
But that one felt like it went even further.
Mhm. It added more to the original.
More.
Okay.
It gives you a
I
completely
haven't seen that
different
one yet,
experience than the first movie does.
Mhm.
And you can, but that's what's so great about it. It's not just rehashing. The Thing. So first of all, John Carpenter's The Thing is already a remake, right? From the Thing from Another World. Very different movie. And then they do a prequel to The Thing called The Thing again, right? Starring, what's her name?
I don't know. I haven't
Ramona
seen.
Flowers.
Oh my God. Really?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And that movie is just The Thing redone with different characters. It's almost the same film. And that's kind of how I feel about Apartment 7A.
Okay.
What did you think?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still enjoyed it. I think it's because I've been so far removed from Rosemary's Baby for a while. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
And I feel like I probably should have just rewatched Rosemary's Baby and I would have
That's
gotten the same vibe.
like-
But I do love the cast in this.
Yeah.
This was fun to see. And even though you know where it ends, it's, I don't know, I still had a good time watching it. And like,
That's how long ago though that I did know how it ends since, Rosemary shows up.
Mhm.
I kind of forgot that we actually saw this character in
Yeah.
Rosemary's Baby.
Julie Garner's character is a
Yeah.
character in Rosemary's Baby.
I thought she was just like, oh, there was someone before Rosemary and this is how that went. I totally forgot that she was even.
yeah.
Yeah.
Terry G, something with a G that I can't pronounce.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still on.
I'm like, you're
still
on movie 43. This is
looking
not-
for the Terry Gionoffrio.
Gionoffrio, yeah.
And I really do like with this film that it spends a lot of time with that character.
Yes.
You really get to know her and sort of what she wants as a person. And her kind of her struggles and everything she's going through with the rolled ankle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
As a
awful.
dancer is devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really a slow paced look at this woman who had that dream sort of shattered, but wasn't giving up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way she gets, what's the word? Surrounded by, gaslit by Satanists.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see how she would fall into that so easily.
Yes. Because very typically cults, which this is, will prey on people who are at like a very low point in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally pull her off the street.
Yeah.
When
While she's vomiting.
Yeah. Yeah. And she just wakes up in their apartment. And then the night they're like, hey, we have this extra apartment. Why don't you take it? And I mean, she's going to because she needs a place. And it's, I did like that getting a little more into, I mean, I haven't seen Rosemary's Baby in a while, like I just said, but finding out a little bit more of like how nefarious the Castevets were. Because like in Rosemary's Baby, Rosemary and Guy move into the building.
Yeah.
They literally pull her in off the street. Like they take her in, and it's not really kidnapping, I guess, because she agrees to move into the apartment and everything, but it's like they are manipulating her from the start. Like, were they looking for someone on the street? Did they just find her and they're like, she's the one? Like,
I feel like it was happenstance. I don't think that it was like anything was purposeful.
She was out front of the
because she was following the director.
Following somebody, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, watching this movie, it reminded me kind of heavily at certain points about Speak No Evil, which is sort of, I don't know if the right word, a treatise on people not wanting to offend or
being too polite.
Make their own boundaries.
Yes.
And so because she has taken this apartment from the Castevets,
yeah.
They can kind of come and go as they please, and she doesn't really say anything, and they keep pushing boundaries more and more and more. And it just it's that same sort of cringe. As I think Noel called it cringe horror.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, come on, just stand up for yourself.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. It is very similar to Rosemary's Baby, but I also think has a very important difference. Whereas Rosemary was a stay-at-home housewife moving with her husband. She had her husband there. This is a woman who moved out of state. She has no family. She has no one else to rely on. If she can't make it here, she has to move back to, was it Nebraska or Kansas?
Sure.
She doesn't want to move back there. And so like, she's fully under these people's thumbs.
Yeah.
And like, it's a different scary aspect in Rosemary's Baby because her husband's part of the problem. Like he's a big, like your husband should be someone you can depend on, but he's also gaslighting her.
The husband in the original movie wasn't part of it, right?
Not in the beginning, but he's part of the problem in that he's constantly telling her what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler alert, he rapes her
Yeah. He does. Yeah.
I mean, Satan rapes her, and then he also says he raped her. It was but I mean, he didn't say it like that. He's like, oh, I didn't want him as baby night, and she was unconscious. So he's problematic.
Yeah, for sure.
I should say.
Yeah.
He's not like in the cult immediately, but he definitely wasn't standing up for his wife when she was saying something was wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas this woman had nobody else to go to except her friend. We also loved her friend. I don't know who the actress was, but I really liked her.
Let's see. Marley Sue? SIU. Yeah, she was great too.
She was great. Yeah. And I don't know when we're getting into
spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on in the chat. Confession time, I would bet. I would bet that comparing my teen years to now, 12 years of women's studies courses might give me a different view. I should rewatch it after all these decades.
It might. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many movies.
Women's studies. God bless.
What's that?
That's a lot of, you have a lot of education under your belt is what I'm saying. It's great.
Watch the video. I don't know, maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the video that I mentioned on
by The Take on YouTube.
The Take, yeah. Chris says there is another Satan baby movie out right now, but telling you the title kind of spoils the ending of the movie. Yeah, don't.
Is it the one we didn't mention the other one?
Oh, right. It was The First Omen and then Immaculate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was that a spoiler? Shit.
I don't think so.
It's about a Satan baby almost. So yeah. Anything else you want to say? I
Before
actually
we go into
took a
spoilers?
bunch of notes. I'm going to skim through them. Oh, the production design is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The look and the feel of New York in this movie feels authentic. Like I was alive then. I wasn't. But, it's one of those things that...
What's your skincare routine? You look great.
Thank you. I'm a vampire.
Which are you? Do you know Richard E. Grant?
I do. Yes. I'm the littlest. I'm trying to remember another movie that was a movie in the 60s and it just didn't feel like it. I had it on the tip of my tongue. And this one feels like it's taking place in another time period. Mm-hmm. Except for the camera, the way the camera moves and interacts with the characters doesn't feel like a movie in the 60s. In the 60s, I feel like there was a lot of kind of like handheld shaky cam at the time.
Right.
A lot of really awkward close-ups. There's even a scene in the original Rosemary's Baby where the Miss Castevet is knocking on the door and
it's like,
it's the peephole and it's got the fisheye lens and it's just, there's so many scenes looking back at Rosemary's Baby where just watching it, it's like you want to step back from the TV a little bit.
They bring it up in the video. That was kind of what he was trying to do, maybe with the like almost claustrophobia of like city living and nosy neighbors and like you're feeling trapped. Yeah.
So that I thought was really cool. I do kind of wish that they had done, I don't know, maybe it's a step too far, but they could have done a thing where in post-production maybe added either filmed with a different camera or in post-production added sort of that grain that you would get from watching a movie now that was made in the 60s. Just because I've seen films do that before where it feels like it's fake, but they've done a thing that makes you go, oh, that feels like it was actually shot back then, and takes place in that reality. So that was kind of like awesome, but not great. Wish they had pushed things farther in the same way that we were talking about The First Omen, really pushed shit and made it a different experience than watching The Omen, but you can go straight to The Omen and not miss a beat by the way they leave you there. But this thing does another thing that I think The First Omen does, which I do like, which is you can watch it by itself.
Yes.
If you've never heard of Rosemary's Baby, you can go into this movie, have a full experience and walk out none the wiser.
Yeah.
Right.
That was another thing I was going to bring up. I like when a prequel does that.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. And then I think my bottom line about this movie is that it's not scary. Like I said, I don't think Rosemary's Baby is scary. Like it's creepy, right? It's got awful vibes. Yeah. But not scary. It's not a horror movie to me. And this is the same.
Horrifying to me.
Yeah. Right. Different perspectives.
To me. Yeah. As a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to get more into that, but it would involve some spoilers. Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of which, there is a sequel. I don't know if you guys know. I kind of forgot about this. Look what happened to Rosemary's Baby, a 1976 TV movie, having been adopted by the madam of a southwestern brothel. A now adult Adrian must cope with the fact that he's Satan's kid and not living up to his expectations.
This straight up sounds like an Onyx the Fortuitous. If this was for Onyx the Fortuitous, I would watch the shit out of that. Yeah. But because it's supposed to be a Rosemary's Baby movie, I'm like, oh.
Imagine not living up to your parents' expectations, but your parent is the fucking devil.
He's literally in charge of punishing the worst people, and he's like, I'm going to punish you if you don't live up to my expectations.
That last line just makes me giggle.
Not living up to his expectations. Yeah. I want to know how he's not living up to Satan. What are Satan's expectations?
What was his expectations that he was like,
world domination?
You're not doing great. Yeah.
Like, listen.
I'm not proud of you, kid. Pink says, it's been 30 years, but I thought the husband made a deal with the Satanist to boost his acting career if he gives them his wife. Shit.
Might be it. So yeah, he was definitely...
At the end, part of it?
Part of it, I thought. I thought... Well, I mean, yeah, because he had to... Well, I didn't know if he was getting knocked out too when they ate the dessert that tasted funny. But maybe if he was in on it, she was the only one getting knocked out. And that's why he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Mine tastes fine.
I really should have. I wanted to revisit that. He probably
covered for... So in Rosemary's Baby, spoiler, she gets raped by Satan. And then she wakes up with all these scratches on her. and her husband had been planning to try to have a kid. And so she's like, what are all these scratches? And he's like, oh, well, I didn't want to miss baby night. So was he covering for Satan, or did
or did he really have?
Did he really not remember?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think Pink Apocalypse might be onto something.
So yeah, I recommend it if you are inclined to. I don't think this is a must watch. Again, I'd rather watch the original The Thing than watch the prequel, which is the same film. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we getting spoilers?
Do you recommend it?
I'd recommend Rosemary's Baby over this.
Okay.
If you're looking for this kind of movie specifically, I would say just watch Rosemary's
the original.
Baby.
Yeah. It's certainly just the camera work alone is creepier than this whole movie.
Okay. I would say if you watch Rosemary's Baby and enjoy it, I would recommend watching this because of something I'm going to talk about in spoilers.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Starting now, we're going to get into spoilers for Apartment 7A. What do you think of the name? Apartment 7A.
I thought it was interesting because until I looked it up, I didn't realize it was a Rosemary's Baby prequel.
Right.
I hadn't heard about this until you guys told me, like, hey, we're going to talk about Apartment 7A on the podcast. I'm like, oh, cool, new horror movie. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, it's a Rosemary's Baby thing. Yeah. All right, cool.
I knew that at one point. And then when I went to go look at our list of like what we're going to be doing this week, I was like, Apartment 7A, what even is that? I don't even know. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, right. I think it should have been called Apartment 7A, a Rosemary's Baby
saga.
Yeah.
A call back to Noel and he's not even here.
Covering and gaslighting, says Pink. Yeah. So the husband was going to in on it. So spoiler alert for Apartment 7A, starting now. Go.
Okay. So if I were to recommend a movie like this to anybody, I would definitely recommend Rosemary's Baby first. And then if they came to me and they're like, I loved that, I'd be like, okay, now watch 7A and let me know what you think. Because they are very similar. But the important difference, which I touched on earlier, is Rosemary is a married woman in the 60s, whereas Terry is a single woman in the 60s. And they both get unexpectedly pregnant. Yeah. Well, I guess Rosemary kind of. I know she was trying with her husband, but they're both raped. And
unexpectedly pregnant from the devil.
Nobody expects that. And
two things people don't expect.
They're both
the Spanish
violated.
Inquisition. Sorry.
Yeah, Spanish Inquisition.
And Devil Baby.
So
go ahead.
They are both taken advantage of, and their consent is taken away. Yeah. And autonomy is taken away. But Terry had the added aspect of society expectations because, like, even though Rosemary was dealing with all of that stuff, like being pregnant, not knowing what's going on at home, she's still a married woman in the 60s, pregnant. It's a normal thing. Yeah. Terry is a struggling dancer. Yep. She's trying to make a career for herself on her own in New York in the 60s. She doesn't have a husband or anybody to rely on.
That's right.
The person who she thinks impregnated her is basically her boss. And she's trying to get a secret abortion. Yeah. Like a back alley abortion in the 60s, which is another horrifying element to it. So I think it's a very similar, it's basically the same story, but very different women. So I think it adds a little bit to it.
That's cool.
Which I thought was another horrifying. And not that one has to be more horrifying than the other. I couldn't decide which one was like a scarier thing to think about, like being a woman alone in the 60s, pregnant by somebody who raped me and was also my boss, or thinking I was raped by my husband who was gaslighting me constantly. And they're just both horrifying things to think about. Yeah. Yeah.
That is, holy shit.
That's and also the important thing in the end, and it's a sad ending of Apartment 7A, she eventually decides to take back her own autonomy. She says in the beginning she got into dancing because it was an escape for her. It was her freedom after her mother died and her dad kind of went off the rails. That's why she moved away and got into dancing. So they're at the party and they tell her the whole plan. Basically, they're like, hey, we got Satan to impregnate you. Yeah. Congrats. You're the mother of the Antichrist. And she kind of goes along with it. Yeah, she goes along with it. She's drinking with them and she just starts dancing crazily and just like no control, like just in the room, around the room. Everybody's just going with it. And then she's like, you're right. This is the role of a lifetime. And she just dives out the window. Yeah. And it's like, it's depressing, but it was her. That's the choice. Like it was a choice that she had made.
Having been deprived of so many choices in her life. Yeah. At least recently. Yeah. Yeah. She decides to make one final choice. Yeah. I like that.
And it feels like Rosemary, every time she tried to make a choice, it was constantly being taken away by a man.
Yeah.
By every man.
Literally taken. Like at one point she's reading a book and the husband literally just takes the book away from her.
And even everybody's like, you shouldn't be reading. Yeah, don't be reading, you woman.
Insane.
Yeah. So both similar horror movies, but different from the aspect of the main character.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Different views.
Yeah.
I think for me, being with somebody who is also in on it makes it a slightly worse.
Right.
Like the person that you're trusting to help you is, and that's sort of the thing with cult movies in general. That's the thing I enjoy about cult movies, like Midsummer and stuff like that. God, what's the one with the bees? The bees.
Wicker Man.
Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna help you.
Right.
Like there are people everywhere and not a single one is going to help you and you're just screwed. And that's what I find sort of fascinating about those situations. And it's the same thing here. You've got your husband, even your husband is in on it.
Yeah.
At least by the end. But yeah, I thought this was solid. I thought it was good. It's not like I was sitting there going like, ugh.
When will it be over? Yeah, no, I was enjoying it, but I was making the same comparisons as you were to the original. But then I was just thinking about it more and I'm like, it does add a different element because she was so alone.
Yeah. Yeah. All she had was her friend.
Her friend who like took her in at first, but even like her friend's roommate was like, she can't stay here forever. Like, and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. To go back to that scene that you were talking about, right before she leaps out the window, the dance scene. I know what it is, right? I know what the filmmakers are telling me and showing me. But it's one of those scenes that just feels a little silly because of the execution. Maybe it's the dance move she chooses, but it just, they're 60s dance moves.
Yeah, I was going to say the very 60s. Yeah.
Very silly. So for the time period, probably appropriate, but the way it's done, I was just like, I know I'm supposed to be feeling a certain thing here, but it feels a little goofy. And honestly, by the end of that scene, she has to do, all right. So the thing that breaks her ankle, her entire foot, whatever breaks.
Yeah, her ankle, I think,
was a specific move.
Chate.
I
used to be a dancer.
And then is that a? It's like a simple move, comparatively speaking, right?
Yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, I say I used to be a dancer when I was growing up as a kid. I was not a professional by any means.
And this is just a happenstance of like, she just happened to land wrong. Her toes went down the wrong way and bam. And the scene where they're making her do that over and over and over again was so difficult to watch.
So demeaning.
It felt mean.
It was.
But I was sort of trying to rationalize it by saying, what they may be doing is, this is a show that's going to we're going to be doing over and over and over again, and you're going to be practicing this over and over and over again. We need to make sure that you're able to keep doing it. But the scene itself just feels so mean and awful. I was expecting her to do that final jump again, but out the window.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which wouldn't have made any sense because the window's not that big. But yeah, I was waiting for that. So yeah, I really liked that scene. I just wish it wasn't as silly looking as it was.
Yeah.
Were you in on it? Were you just like, oh, I feel this, or were you like, oh, goofy?
I liked it because she wasn't thinking about being perfectly poised like a ballerina or anything. She was just dancing.
Just feeling the music.
Dancing like you do when you're in your room alone and you're just
dancing like no one's watching.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what it felt like to me.
Nice.
Like she didn't care. She's like, this is my literal last dance. I'm just going to just do it.
Have fun with it.
Just have fun with it. I also loved the song choice, Be My Baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so on the nose.
And like,
so on the nose.
She also danced to that earlier with her friend right before she finds out she's pregnant. They're like at the Christmas party or whatever. She was at her apartment and the same song came on and they were like dancing around being silly before she gives her the scarf. And
the scarf, did you notice that?
Yep.
You noticed it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Diane Weiss had the scarf.
Diane Weiss stole that scarf. How did you get that scarf, Diane?
Yeah.
You crazy lady. Diving out the window to kill the devil inside. That's kind of the exact same ending as The Exorcist. That's what I'm saying. Exorcist is better. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of it. I don't really think I have much more to say about this movie. I wish it had felt as hard as they worked to make it feel like it was of the time. I think they could have pushed that a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. They could have pushed so many elements of this movie further. And I think I would have been a little bit more interested and found it more satisfying as the other two movies in the trilogy of Devil Babies from 2024. So yeah.
I was really into Devil Babies this year.
Oh, and
Devil Babies are making a comeback. They're so in.
I can't say enough
Everyone
about Julia
get your
Gardner.
Devil Babies this year. They're the next big thing.
Like jellies. I don't know if anyone remembers jellies, those little slippers. Julia Garner is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she was in some of these things. The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
She had Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Martha Marcy May Marion.
May Marlene.
Sorry.
Oh my God, that's another movie about cult stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That's
Elizabeth
when
Olsen.
That's when I first realized I was like, oh, she's the best Olsen. How have we been sleeping on the best Olsen this entire time? And then Ozark, which is one of my all-time favorite TV shows.
I've actually never watched Ozark.
It's so fucking good.
That's what I've heard.
Jason Bateman. That's the first thing I've ever seen Julia Garner in, and she's so good in it. It's insane. So yeah. Oh, and what is it? Laura Linney? I love Laura Linney so much because of her role in Ozark. She was in The Truman Show.
Yes.
I liked her in that. She was amazing in that.
She's so good in The Truman Show.
Especially that one scene where it's going off script and she doesn't know what to do and she feels like she's backed into a corner. Her acting is so good in that. Anyway, amazing dancing plus feminist masterpiece writing equals Pink.
You wanted to bring this up.
That's right. I forgot. This would have been one of those things that I left the show and be like, oh, I wanted to bring that up. So Pink says the Suspiria remake. There were so many times that I was watching this and just going, kind of wish I was watching the Suspiria remake. It's a woman who's having her agency taken away from her. She's a dancer, a ballet dancer, and the devil's involved. It's like there's so many...
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that.
So many things that are kind of tying themselves together.
That's what I've heard. Stomach-turningly horrifying.
Yeah, okay. Highly recommend. And Pink, you might email me a punch in the face for this, but I like the remake better than the original Suspiria. I know you're gonna say hogwash, but I love the Suspiria remake way more than the original. Highly recommend. You should check that out. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Don't watch this movie. Go watch the Suspiria remake. It does the thing where it pushes. It pushes it further than the original did. And it's gorgeous. The colors in that movie are so gorgeous. Highly recommend the Suspiria remake. Anyway, that's what I have to say about this movie. Go watch a different movie.
Pink agrees with you.
Oh, same. Yay, Pink. High five. So anything else to say about this film, Apartment 7A?
No, I don't think so.
I think we
covered everything.
If you haven't tried Rosemary's Baby,
and if you like all things pumpkin,
this is delicious.
It's very nice. It is 6.8% though, so if you're lightweight, be careful.
I can taste the rum barrels and the vanilla beans.
All those
beans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, you guys. Let us know what you thought of any or all of the things we discussed on this episode. Do you remember? My brain is full of bees. Do you remember what we're talking about next week?
No, I can check my phone real quick.
Do it. I'll vamp. Hey, okay. Dylan.
I have it up. Oh, Joker 2.
Oh, Joker. Oh, yeah.
Salem's Lot Joker / Joker 2 is what we have. I don't know if we're
I'm really looking forward to the Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Not so much the Joker. Dylan, we forgot to talk about this. You brought it up before the show. You were a part of our podcast last week where we reviewed Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Yes.
And you went home and watched it.
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was awesome. Yeah, just so goofy, just so silly, just in on the joke kind of what it is, and really well done. Yeah.
Had you known Onyx the Fortuitous, the character, before that movie?
I recognized it.
Right, you've seen him.
Yeah, like the whatchamacallit, the videos of him like putting himself in with like the news.
Yeah, he edits himself into
all of those.
Like there was a Joe Rogan experience that he edited himself into.
What's it, Andrew Bowser?
Edit
yourself into one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Or just come.
Edit yourself into the review of the movie.
What's that?
edit himself
yourself
into the review that
of
you
your own
guys
movie.
did. Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Or review our review of your movie.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. That's so cool that we talked about on the show and you were so interested that you went home and watched it. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
It was so fun.
It's in the cart. I have it in the cart, the Blu-ray. I just haven't pressed the button yet to like order it, but I kind of want to own it.
Yeah. Press the button.
This feels like this movie's not going to be around forever. You know, I kind of want a hard copy of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll talk at you later. Doodle-doo. Doodle-dee-doop.
YUNKJunk!